If you can get these 8 things right, then you're completely off the races and your Instagram brand will explode and you will become a millionaire. So, in this video, I'm going to take my last 5 years of experience on Instagram, grown from 0 to almost 2 million followers, and I'm going to condense it into 8 simple lessons that would follow if I was starting a personal brand completely from scratch. Lesson number 1. Speed is extremely important in content. Any content format or idea that you decide to do must be done fast, but that doesn't mean it has to be done cheap or poorly, because people seem to conflate the two. People think that speed means posting garbage, that if you do something quickly, it must be terrible, but that's not the case. So let's say you're a chef and you've got suddenly 30 orders on the board. Now, here's the thing, every single dish still needs to be perfect. You don't start serving raw chicken. You stay composed, but your hands, your timing, everything's sharper, cleaner, quicker. So you cut the hesitation time, you cut the overthinking. The reason I'm saying this is that whatever content idea you might have, if you make it fast and post it, you get data. You see how it performs. You learn, you adjust. Maybe it flops, maybe it pops. Either way, now you know. But if you sit on that idea for a week, tweaking it, adapting it, or perfecting it, you're not improving it. You're just delaying your decision making. So the truth is, most of your clarity will come after you hit that publish button, not before. Posting is feedback, but the draft phase is just speculation. So you're not just being slow, you're holding up your entire growth because you're scared to post that piece of content you've created. So create fast, learn fast, and post fast. Coming to lesson number 2, words are the engine of the entire content game. Not the trends, not the editing tricks, not the aesthetics of your reels, just words. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you cannot say it in a way that cuts through the noise, no one will care, because everyone's out here trying to be original. You need to know that originality is overrated. Everything, literally everything has been said before. So what makes you different is how you say it. That's your edge, your tone, your phrasing, your rhythm. That's what makes people follow you or screenshot you or save you or whatever, send you in group chats. So if you're serious about content, you sharpen your copywriting skills like your life depends on it. Because you can take a trash piece of content from the blog post on Google served to you by better SEO and rewrite it with better words, and suddenly it hits. It persuades, it converts, it spreads, because it sounds confident and it becomes valuable. Coming to lesson number 3, obsess over the hook. I could talk about this one for days. This is my favorite topic. The hook is life or death for your content. If it's weak, no one makes it to line 2. That is the game you're playing here. So here are some quick psychology tricks that you could use. If you go and scan my Forget Code Instagram account, you can see that this is literally the only tricks I use. It always works. So first is curiosity gap. Create a gap between what they know and what they want to know. It kind of makes their brain itch. You can say something like, most people don't know about this email trick. The second one is relevance to self. Usually, if they see themselves in it, they stay. So you can say something like, if you hate Mondays, this is why. You make it about them and not you. The third one is social currency. Make your content something people want to share to look smart. Share this with your team, everyone will freak out, something like that. Now, I have an example, a recent example on my Instagram account where I made this post about this recent study, MIT study that was made on ChatGPT users. Nothing is new here. Of course, you're using an LLM. So you're using ChatGPT, your cognitive mind is declining because you're not depending on it. Nothing's new there, of course. But somehow people freaked out and started to send it to their family tree. So you can see the results. Fourth psychology trick is practical application. Something that is instantly useful, immediately applicable. Something like, here's a DM, you can just copy paste to land a job interview. Something like that. If they could use it now, they value it now. So for example, I have some posts that I can share here about Apple Notes features that most people don't know about, and most people actually don't know about these tricks. So if you share them, they find it very, very applicable. I have a recent post about this too that shows how practical application is very useful. So I've made this post about questions you can ask during an interview. It seems like people always struggle about that. There's a part during a job interview where they ask you, do you have any more questions? And people get stuck there or they don't ask questions, which makes them a little bit less interested about the job. Anyhow, I made this post and I literally gave them answers that they can just copy paste. You can see it here. So it was very, very practical. They can just copy paste that or memorize it and they can say it. And at the end, I made a sarcastic question and you can see it here. So this is a very practical example of this psychology trick. Lesson number 4, don't sweat the small stuff. Now, a lot of people spend so much time on hashtags research, what is the best time to post, story for story kind of promotion where you get in a group with like 100 people and you just support each other on Instagram. I did that. It doesn't work. You're just wasting so much valuable time that you could be using to write a very, very good copy. I'm not saying that posting time doesn't matter, but now that I have almost 2 million followers of people mainly from the US, of course I'm gonna post on their time zone instead of mine in Asia. That makes sense. Because who controls the algorithm? People, right? People share, save, comment, and DM you. That is the algorithm. So hack humans first if you want to hack the algorithm. Spend that lost hashtags time on sharpening your copy, a killer hook, punch of value, a line that makes them sit up and say like, damn, I need to send this to my friends. So do that and every metric you're chasing will sprint towards you. So forget the hacks, forget the spreadsheets, the strategy. Why do you need a strategy when you have 100 followers? You don't need that. Try everything and spend more time with the copy and everything will work just fine and you will explode. Coming to lesson number 5, judge your content based on shares. So everyone has a basic dashboard on Instagram that tells you your post performance. I have a more advanced one that my team put together because I can make way better decisions based on the data that I have. So if you want a more advanced one specific for your content, I'll leave it in the link below. So one key thing to watch is your reach from non-followers. If that number is growing and even beating your reach from your followers, you're doing something right. You're on the right track. That means your content is getting suggested to new people, which is how real growth happens. You'll see this on my page of all the posts that goes viral. They go viral because they reach a new audience, new people who don't know you, so they follow you. And this is how you gain more followers. And here is a warning for you. Do not obsess over the likes. If you only chase likes, you'll end up making meme content that gets laughs but doesn't build trust or any followers. So it's okay to do it occasionally, but it won't move the needle forward. Here is a proof where some content gets stupidly amount of likes, but not much followers. And some content that has way less likes, it gets more followers. Number 6, image builds trust. Don't get so caught up in posting valuable content that people forget that you're actually a human. I'm not great at this myself. I barely share my life, but when I do it in a sarcastic way, a bit of nature, nice views, walks, my workstation. You could probably do this better than me. You could share how you got there, your story, a few Q&As, but please keep this to stories only if you want to grow consistently. I'm talking if you want to gain some followers, don't post your main life on your feed because most people's lives are not that interesting. I have no reason to follow you if you're posting a latte on a beach. I have no reason to follow you, but keep that on your stories. Share your life, your journey on your stories and keep the feed for valuable stuff. Coming to lesson number 7, does a niche matter? This is everyone's most important question. So if you're just starting out, say around 100-ish followers, you need to niche down. Nobody knows you yet. And the broader niches are way too competitive. And this is how I started For Good Code. Now, For Good Code is all about tech tools, systems, and insights to level up your career, but it didn't start that way. At first, it was just a niche programming account where I shared what I was learning as a software engineer. But even that felt too broad. So I went deeper. I focused specifically on data structures and algorithms, which is just one corner on the programming world. And that's when things clicked. I started a series called Explain Like I'm 5 years old, where I broke down complex programming concepts in a super simple way. And people loved it. They started following, I gained some traction, because at that time, no one else was doing that. By the time I hit around 100,000 followers, I hit a wall. Being too niche can become a trap. Yeah, you end up saying the same things over and over again, and it's just not fun anymore. So I pivoted. I started writing about tech in general, things I was actually curious about, tools, productivity, career growth. And here's the cool part. Like most people who follow programming content are also into tech and personal growth. So that shift felt more natural to them. the 100K niche audience became the launch pad to go a little broader. So here's the takeaway. If you're starting from scratch, go niche, then go even deeper. Once you've earned some traction and built trust, only then, carefully, I'm saying it again, carefully, you can start to broaden out. Coming to the last lesson, number 8, always blame it on content. This is one of those mindset shifts that you need to have in this game. When a post doesn't perform well, even if you had high expectations, please don't blame the algorithm, blame the content. Yes, there are a million things you can point to, timing, reach, hashtags, whatever, but will blaming those things actually help you improve? Probably not. So if you want to grow, start by owning what you can control. The quality of the content, that mindset alone will just put you miles ahead of everyone who's still crying about engagement drops. That was all. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you follow the journey. I'm on track to hit 3 million followers by the end of next year. So I will share more about the behind the scenes and everything that goes around the business. And if you care more about monetizing your account, getting brand deals, check out the link below.